Welcome to High Peaks Home, where it's my goal to inform you of all the different inner workings of a home. And in this episode, we're going to talk about a request from my boiler guy and a request from my plumbing guy, and we're going to get into a little bit of timber framing. So let's get into it. I met with Elton, my boiler guy, and he came over, he took a look at the house, said, all right, this is the size boiler we need, and this is the number of radiators we need, this is the number of feet of tubing we need, blah, blah, blah. And I said, great, well, where do you want to mount it? And we started talking about that. All right, well, where's the exterior walls? What's on the exterior walls? What windows are around? And, where's the propane? Because you got to run propane to the unit, this particular one. And I said, all right, well, the propane's up in this corner over here, and there's no windows against this other wall. So that ended up being like the perfect combination of items, because you don't want the boiler venting next to a window or near a window. In fact, it's not, there's a code for that. You need to look into that. And you don't want to have too many linear feet of propane run between the tank and the unit. I'm not a boiler guy. I'm not going to be the one to explain this all. Hopefully when Elton comes back to do the install, we can have him talk you through this. But I said, well, all right, so how much feet of wall do you want? And because I didn't want it against an exterior wall, because I want to spray foam all those. And he said, well, an 8-foot wall would be great. Then you can really lay it all out. I said, all right, no problem. It's got a huge basement in it. I'll give you all the square footage you want. So I went ahead, built him an 8-foot wall, and which ended up helping me in a bit, because I was planning on putting a post right about here to support this big girder here, or beam. And so instead of having to put that post in, I just put the wall underneath that to help support this, and that helps flatten the floor out a little bit upstairs, and voila, we have a wall. Pretty much everything on this wall are cutoffs or reclaimed lumber. The only thing I purchased for this wall was a 2x4 pressure treated plate to go against the concrete, and then some sill seal to go underneath that. So now that is protected from the wet concrete. And then, this was just a cutoff from that built-in I did a couple weeks ago. And then this is an extra sheet of T111 I had laying around. So he wanted 3/4 inch all the way through. I didn't have enough 3/4 inch to go all the way through. And I'm, trying to put the screws to that budget. So this is 5/8, which is still plenty strong enough. And all the heavy stuff's gonna be mounted up high anyway. So he'll mount this up here. And then the other thing is I want to make sure I had an air gap here so that we can get spray foam behind here, so no thermal bridging there. I put in the outlets that he needed. He just wanted a 15 amp service. And best of all, I put in some extra lighting. Because who doing mechanicals doesn't love extra lighting? I know I do. So, that's all settled. Now let's go take a look at what the plumber asked me to do. Well, what the plumber guy asked was a lot harder than what the boiler guy asked. Let me show you what I got into here. Good morning, it's Wednesday, and we're going to continue with prepping for the subcontractors. And in this spot, we need to start working on the drainage side of all the plumbing. Now, in a previous episode, you saw that I had plumbing over, well, basically behind where you are right now. The septic line that we're sorting out to see what's viable, what's not. I got Roto-Rooter coming out next week. They're going to snake it for me and tell me what condition it's in. Roto-Rooter said that it was clogged and collapsed behind there. And with the new layout of what I've done up the stairs with the different bathrooms and different locations, I think that putting the drainage right here is going to be the best option. Now you can kind of see that right through here that there's a break in the concrete where they had done a patch, where I am assuming that the main drain line runs through here. Now, because when they snaked it, they couldn't actually verify it because the collapse is behind you, I'm gonna have to just break this all up and see what I can find. I'm really hoping right about here is the main drain for the house. Let's find out. There you have it. There's the main sewer line right there. Big old cast iron line. So it is farther over to the right than I was really hoping for, but that's fine. What I'll do is I'll jackhammer this up over here, and I'll excavate all this out of here, and we'll have to sever the line, and then that way we can try to get this whole chunk out of here and expose the foundation wall all the way around the pipe itself and make a nice easy workspace for the plumber. All right, let's do it. All right, so I'm in the crawl space. Come way over here. There's my pipe. I need to get up into there and get it cut. By no means am I excited about this. I mean, no me. Real quick, I'll show you all the different things that are wrong with just this section of pipe. The gasket is blown out here, and this is the bottom of the pipe. Then you travel down, we have a hole here, a hole there, and probably some holes down there I just can't see from here. So now, the challenge is going to be getting that section of pipe out of the foundation wall. That's going to be fun. Wonder how I'm going to do it.
Fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, make a change, in my mind, make a land, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big swings, put your hand to the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but supposed to feel.
So all I'm doing right now is just trying to get any loose rock or dirt out of the way, because she's wedging in there pretty good.
Never miss that fact, taking big swings, put your hand to the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill.
My PVC is getting jammed up. Right up here. So I'm going to take a stone chisel and try to open this up a little bit. Don't need much.
One hour later.
There it is, 4-inch new drain line running through a 3-foot thick foundation wall at an angle. So there's about 5 feet of pipe running through this thing. Honestly, I got lucky. It could have been a lot worse. And I only had to do a little bit of chiseling, the old stone chisels. And, you know, it worked out just fine. I honestly expected, for this being as old as it is, to have a lot more settling going on in this back wall and having that old cast iron pipe just really pinched right in there. And it wasn't. You know, once I broke the spray foam free and the rust that was accumulated on the outside, fusing it to the stones around it, it popped right out of there. And then putting the new one in, the PVC is just a little bit bigger than the old cast. And A little bit of chipping at some stones. I had to break this big stone here, but other than that, I'd say that was pretty flawless. I'm pretty excited, honestly. This morning, I was sitting in my rocking chair, enjoying my view, drinking my cup of coffee in absolute silence. It was beautiful. And I was thinking about, what am I going to do today? And I was kind of coming off the high of yesterday, getting through that foundation wall and getting that boiler wall finished. All right, well, let's just get right into the timber frame. I arrived this morning and started cleaning up, getting things organized. The last thing you want are tripping hazards when you're dealing with really heavy timber. And I quickly realized there's so much more work involved in timber frame than standard stick framing. And that really started adding up, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. So we're gonna take a step back. We're not gonna get a timber frame assembled today, but we're gonna start building components. And so the first thing to that is go through your inventory, figure out what you've got, then go through the checklist of all the different components that you ordered and make sure, one last time, that everything matches, right? And then assign each component its destination, and then you can assign whatever joint you want assigned to that component. And I'm doing a little extra thing because we're intersecting sheetrock with this, so I'm cutting in reliefs, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. I hit another minor roadblock this morning. I labeled everything up, got it ready, and went to go start processing it. I didn't have a set of sawhorses available to me. Everything's being used. So I went ahead and made up a simple set of sawhorses. Yeah, so now I'm ready to get going on this. And so what we need to do this little section over here, we have 2 posts and 2 beams. Wait, no, 3 posts and 2 beams. And so that means 2 10-footers, a 13-foot, and a 17-foot. So I will get those out of here. We can grab these 2 here, and then this guy here, and this one down here. Super. Well, this is as far as I was able to get. This here is going to be a main beam running basically in this orientation, and this is going to be a post that's going to intersect underneath. So if you can imagine this guy basically turned 90 degrees and then turned 90 degrees again to vertical, this tenon right here is going to slide right up into here, and I'm going to land another beam right here. Now this beam only has a short run, so it didn't need a bunch of berth, so that's going to work out just fine. And then I could lag in all the way through the whole assembly. And this here is the relief I was telling you about. The way that's going to work is this is the very top, and the sheetrock is going to come into this and land right in here. Now I wanted a nice crisp line to where the beam and the sheetrock come together, and that's how you create that. Now the sheetrockers don't have to be as precise when they set their sheetrock to here. They bring it in, and then all you're going to see is this face here and then the sheetrock there. Hope that makes sense. If not, you know what to do. Throw a comment on down below. Well, I built a wall, I dug a hole, ran some pipe, ran some wire, started on the timber frame. Not bad for a 3-day week. And next week, it should be full time here, hopefully, barring any unforeseen circumstances. If you have any questions at all about anything I've done in the past or anything you see coming up, please feel free to drop them down below, and I'd be happy to answer your questions either there or in the next video. Well, until next week, thank you for stopping by High Peaks Home. I'm Sean.